We have a lot to cover in today's weekly respill. Kylie Jenner has officially spoken out about her baby daddy's side chick, YungSweetRo. Ned Fulmer has been exposed by his fans yet again, and the Try Guys were done dirty by Saturday Night Live. So let's dive right into the saucy. Travis Scott has slammed speculation that he cheated on the mother of his children, Kylie Jenner. It all started last week after Instagram model YungSweetRo reportedly shared pics of herself on the set of Scott's latest shoot. This isn't the first time Travis Scott has gone running back to his side chick of 10 years. After Kylie first gave birth to Stormy, he was caught hanging with YungSweetRo at a hotel and casino. Since then, they went silent, and then they recently caught up again, now after Kylie recently gave birth to her second child. YungSweetRo spoke out about Travis recently, saying that she was in fact seeing him for ages, even though he's constantly denying it online. And it's interesting because Travis Scott is speaking more on the scandal than the tragic deaths from his Astroworld concert last year. People are saying, oh yep, this is definitely a sign he's cheated. He's acting very defensive. After YungSweetRo started getting backlash yesterday for sharing her true thoughts on Travis, she'd recently posted this statement to her Instagram story. I have never perpetuated any narrative. I never said I'm currently with him or have recently been with him. Like I said, I went home that night. Having someone you've known for almost a decade disrespect you and assume you won't stand up for yourself because you never do is hurtful. I reacted in the moment, and speaking on someone else's relationship was wrong of me. I have nothing to prove. Him deleting all his posts as soon as I posted an inconspicuous screenshot speaks for itself. Having thousands of people say you've posted and done things that are completely out of character and you would never do is equally hurtful. I'm a regular person with a real career and family. I'm not a blogger or reality TV star who lives by the motto, all publicity is good publicity. I hope you guys keep that in mind when you're writing fantasy stories about atrocious things you claim I've done. To the pages posting Photoshop tweets and photos that were never posted on any of my social media, I truly hope you find some peace in that hateful heart of yours. Everything they're posting is manipulated and was proven false by some fan page years ago. The pictures I posted don't even have my @ on them. Maybe you should Photoshop that, like the tweets you've created. My Twitter is private, and my @ has been nice Muslim girl for 10 years or so. She'd also shaded Kylie in her recent Instagram post stating, tell her to be me for Halloween since she wants you to love her so bad. Oof, shady. So what has Kylie Jenner had to say about all this? Well, she's going through her subtle shade era and is posting some intense thirst traps to her Instagram. Kylie said, couldn't think of a caption. Chloe responded under the photo, I don't think I was prepared for this. In another pic she'd said, in your dreams. The top comment read, it's giving, you can't have any. Well, let's hope Kylie doesn't go running back again and have more babies with Travis, just so her child can have another full-blooded sibling. Moving on from this mess, Ned Fulmer is really out here getting exposed by former fans of his, and the shit that's getting brought to light is getting worse. So it turns out his wife has forgiven him, as they were filmed in public together recently, hanging out, and then someone recently tweeted, that guy Ned Fulmer called the Paps to film him and his wife walking to their car, smiling, to prove they were fine. So a fan matched his license plate to an old Nextdoor post where someone complained about people effing in a car in broad daylight. I love the internet. So here we can see on that Nextdoor post, someone was complaining about people having sex in that car. People having sex in a car at 5:45 while kids and families are walking around. And yes, this was posted around the time Ned was cheating on his wife with Alex. So now we all know where they got down and dirty. So also we seriously need to talk about that SNL skit that recently happened, because Ned Fulmer has a bestie who writes for SNL. And that was one of the reasons why the skit recently made about the Try Guys was written in a certain way to ultimately make Ned look like a good guy. So SNL did a skit reenacting the Try Guys What Happened video, but they were making fun of the Try Guys for how serious they were being about the cheating scandal and almost downplaying the severity of the situation.
I'm trying to understand why this story is such a scandal. Was this affair non-consensual?
No, worse. He committed the heinous act of having a consensual kiss and not telling us, his friend!
Everyone was so confused with the skit, because if anything, why wouldn't SNL be making fun of Ned for cheating instead? That would have been hilarious. Well, there's a dark reason behind that, and it had something to do with Ned having the hookups behind the scenes of SNL, which influenced the way the skit was written. Maybe Ned's friend who writes for SNL believed that if they made light of the situation and made the Try Guys out to be overreacting, maybe then Ned would have had a better second chance comeback if he decides to do social media again in the future. A Twitter user wrote, a room full of writers writers really sat there and thought this was funny. If you don't understand the situation, don't make jokes about it, especially when the people you're joking about have already made all the jokes about it and did it 10 times better. Another user wrote, exactly, the guys really humanised the situation and made jokes about it in their podcast. SNL have professional comic writers who came up with 3.5 minutes of dead air. To which someone replied, professional comic writers, aka Will Steffens and Dan Buhler, who are friends with someone whose name rhymes with red. Saucy, saucy. Yes, indeed, it was eventually exposed that this was the case. Ned had the ins at SNL. Just like, as we all know, he likes to get his ins in professional environments, and really thought that he could spin the narrative. Fans were not having it. So fans weren't the only ones to point out this dodgy coincidental fact that Ned has hookups with the writers of that SNL skit. Keith's wife, who also works for the Try Guys, had tweeted this out. Anyone remember the tripod episode where he talks about his Yale friend who writes for SNL, asking for a friend? And here's a clip from the episode that she was talking about. Now, parts of that episode get worse as fans are now realising and putting two and two together. It turns out that Alex was trying to convince Post Malone to go to a strip club with her when his girlfriend was pregnant, and Post Malone, being the gentleman he is, said absolutely not. Fans are obviously commenting on this under their old podcast, absolutely outraged but not surprised now that everything has been revealed.
I'd love to take you, but I'm going to be in so much trouble because his girlfriend is pregnant and she was also in New York, so he had to be on his best behavior. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Like, you can't go for a little bit? He's like, no.
Someone said, crazy how she mentions Post Malone being candid and clear about his relationship and how he is at least decent enough to know to not disrespect his girlfriend by going to a strip club. But she would have been fine going with him, and later jokes about falling in love had she not been taken. The fact that she openly and unashamedly would disrespect her fiancé behind his back is so telling of her character. He had to be on his best behaviour. How about you, Alex? And the fact that Keith points out it's in Alex's character to try to persuade people to have shots. They've also mentioned this in other videos. I don't mean this to say she persuaded Ned or initiated the affair, just something to note on how she would disrespect her own fiancé. Both Ned and Alex had a responsibility to their own relationships. This is about Alex and Will. Ned is also in the wrong and abuses his power over her as her boss. I hope Will and Ariel are doing okay. They don't deserve any of this. Someone else wrote, immediately came back to this pod after Ned and Alex cheating scandal. Alex's Post Malone story about trying to convince Post to go to the strip club with her after he said he needed to go home to his pregnant girlfriend seems so much more sinister now knowing the circumstances. Heaps of people were commenting how there's a pattern here with Alex and that it almost seems like she's a woman hater, meaning that she is not kind to other women, likes to use other women to build her own self-esteem by throwing herself at men in committed relationships, especially being that Post Malone had a pregnant girlfriend at home. Like, what the hell is up with that? It's almost like she enjoys destroying people's families in order to make herself feel less insecure. At least that's what fans of the Try Guys are saying. It's also interesting to note that Alex was gleefully talking about celebrities and trying to be a homewrecker with Post. The way she name-dropped them quite happily is very much giving Adam Levine side chick vibes, almost boasting about it. And when we see that look in Ned's eyes as well, like, wow, he's so amazed with her. And this podcast was only filmed in June of this year, meaning that him and Alex were sleeping with each other at this point. So she's bragging to someone she's homewrecking about prior attempted homewrecking situations. That's what it looks like anyway. It's actually upsetting to a lot of people to watch this, knowing what we all know now. So what are your thoughts on all this drama? Let me know in the comments.